Okay, so in this video, I aim to present to you my preferred count. Now, I did have two counts, but this count keeps coming back as being the count that I prefer, and it makes a hell of a lot of sense. So in this video, I'm also going to tell you why I believe this is going to happen. And I believe that XLM is lagging behind Bitcoin's pattern. This is very important because I think that we are going to have a major crypto correction. We are nowhere ready yet for cryptos to start being widely accepted and mass adoption, all that sort of thing. But I think that whatever happens in the future will only prepare us more for what's coming, which is the whole point of this. You want to be able to make some profit before that happens. You don't want to just be trying to go all in right now, thinking that this is the time. I do believe there's a lot of headwinds coming in the market, and it's going to affect cryptos in a big way, because it's about the larger sentiment in the market. The markets are driven by psychology, the collective psychology, right? We subconsciously price things as a collective, right? And as a collective, it's not ready yet. We don't think it's ready yet. Okay. So my research is sort of trying to see how that fits into the pattern rather than just being a thought on its own, a thought experiment, but also what pattern can prove this point. So I do believe XLM will go to $3 thereabouts. In Australian dollars, where I live in Australia, probably might be a little bit more. But the point is, the pattern needs to be a zigzag to the upside because Bitcoin has already produced that zigzag to the upside, right? Now, the reason I believe this is because Bitcoin didn't bottom in 2020. It bottomed earlier. It created a different kind of subdivision, which already was a zigzag to the upside, right? Now, the reason why I believe the zigzag is important is because of the previous waves that occurred. Now, I can go into a bit of that in this video, which I will, and I can explain to you my reasoning behind this, right? So I'll do that now before I get back to XLM to show you what's going on at the small degree. So yes, this is one of those videos that you actually want to stick around and watch it all if you're going to understand my point of view, right? So let's go to the BLX chart for a moment, okay? And hopefully my labelings aren't completely off. You know what? I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not going to show you anything on that just yet. That's a separate video. So this view of Bitcoin, and this is the view that I now hold with regards to Bitcoin, right? The view which I have not wanted to share just yet until now, I had to think about it deeply for a while. So I don't know if you ever remember me making the video on Bitcoin where I said, oh, is it possible that there was a 1, 2, 3, and 4 was expanded? Yeah, okay, that's fine, except 1 and 3 were probably zigzags because wave 5 is a zigzag. So it wasn't a 5-wave move. We're not waiting for a wave 5. This is already topped. This is the top of Bitcoin. According to this analysis, which is my best. It is my best, right? The best I have to offer. That's all I can say. So wave 1 was a zigzag, 2 and then 3 was a zigzag, 4 was expanded insanely at this point in time. This is why we have this pattern. It's nonsensical if you don't understand Arias wave. Um, it really got me for quite a long time, right? I spent years trying to work this one out. So zigzag being the top of a weak 5-way move, we're going to get a pullback like you would never believe. Right now, at the minimum, it'll go back to 3,000. Right? It could go a hell of a lot lower, which I wouldn't be surprised if it did because it's clunky, proof of work, energy sucking technology that, well, the truth is there's a lot of other technologies out there that do a lot better. It's basically just branding and hype. That's my opinion, right? You can choose to accept it or you can ignore it. Who cares? The point is the pattern. I'm talking about it. This is my view. So what happened from the top in 2017 to the bottom of that move down was basically a base for wave 4, and then wave 5 completed. Now we need to see a pullback to at least 3,000. That count in there, I believe, is an A, B, C, D. So there's an E wave incoming, exactly like the stock market as well. How low that E wave goes, we don't know. I believe it's tagged at 0.618 for a reason, but it's not a be all end all of analysis because that could have easily expanded higher, but it didn't. And that's interesting. The 0.618 happens to just be incidental. It's nothing of importance, but it's interesting because markets always do this for some reason, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is that we need to see a zigzag for XLM. It hasn't happened for XLM because XLM never broke the 2017 high. And that is necessary for the pattern to complete. Now, I know you're probably thinking like, oh, but wait, that's XLM pattern. That's not Bitcoin pattern. Yeah, but it follows the same pattern. It just happens to be lagging behind. That's my point. So to complete that pattern, it needs to create a zigzag. That's where I get the $3 target from. Well, $3, let's talk about that. So going back to XLM, right? Let's go back to the daily for a sec, right? So the count that I've decided to go along with is this count where that whole move since 2020 all the way up to the top, which didn't break the top, right? It needs to break the top for it to be completed pattern, right? As crazy as that sounds, that's how it works. This count seems the most likely because I've been looking through the small detail as much as possible every day, giving it rest every day, coming back, looking at it again and again and again every day since my last update. Just really thinking it through because this is no bullshit. This is serious. So if we're to see a zigzag to the upside, we need to see a leg up. Where does that leg up start from? Well, we need to see the end of wave E. So where are we at in wave E right now? That's what I'm about to show you. So before I go down, we have an A, a B, a C, a D, E in progress. So if we go down to the 4-hour chart now, right? Now, this part here is where it gets a little bit strange. And this is no surprise because we're talking about cryptos, which is crazy, right? But I go based on the patterns. And from what I can see here, we have a weak 5-way move that hasn't completed yet. So I'll turn on the count right here. And the count is zigzag wave 1, wave 2, 3. Wave 4 is expanded because of alternation. We have A, B, C, D, and this is an E, complete E from here to here. Now, this wick here, I don't agree with it. I think it's one of those scam wicks that is not part of the price action. Not 100% sure why it's there. It's there on all the charts on different exchanges. So I just understand the patterns. That doesn't count. So that was a limiting factor in my analysis previously. But now I think it's becoming a bit clearer as I look at the internal structure of the waves. So, for example, we had B down here, C. Now, how's this a D? Well, we have a wave A, right? So we have a wave A, we have an A, B, C, D, E internally, and then the C wave. So that there is a zigzag on its own. This shit here doesn't apply. So I have enough knowledge on the waves to know that that means nothing. Is it because it's following other cryptos? Whatever happens in XRP happens in XLM. Yeah, whatever. I don't buy it. So that is the only thing I ignore. Apart from that, we have a D, an E. So we have an A, sorry, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E complete. Now we broke the low, confirming that yes, wave 4 is over. Then we had a 5-wave move down. So that means, so just going back for a second here, that means that all we need to see now is wave 5 zigzag to the downside. Zigzag 1, 2, zigzag 3, 4, zigzag 5. So at a minimum, we need to see a break below the lowest point, including all corrective patterns right there. It will go back down to around 10 cents. Okay. But when? Not yet. I'll get to that in a sec. So let's go back to the hourly chart, maybe even the 15-minute chart. Okay. So wave 5 is a zigzag, right? This move here is also a scam wick. The other exchanges don't have it. So on this particular chart from Coinbase, that doesn't exist, meaning that we had the first part of a zigzag down, okay, which is here, wave A. Now I'll make this big so you can see it. We had wave A. Now we've had a wave A within that zigzag that we're seeing to the downside, the last move before we get a move up, okay? An A. This, what we've seen recently, is a B, okay? A B wave within the zigzag wave 5. So yes, we are in wave 5, except it's a zigzag. So there's only going to be, right, 2 impulsive moves down, the A and the C. But the internals tell me that we need to see a C, D, E, and then the last move down. Okay, so that means that we are now waiting for the C bounce, the D down, E, and bang. So that means that depending where wave E ends, we don't know, right? We're going to get a C wave down that will have to go to at least the green line, right? So does this give us an indication of where wave E will end? Well, at a minimum it does, because if we measure wave A and then we measure a minimum to the green line, roughly there, B wave will end somewhere around 12 and a half cents. Okay. When? I don't know. It could happen in a week, a month. I don't know, because these waves are choppy as hell in the last move. But the last move itself could be sharp, right? But the corrective portion of that zigzag, the B in brackets, could take a little bit. We don't know. So going back to this whole thing at the daily level, This is where I believe we'll get our pump to $3 from that area to about $3. Okay, so that's where that comes from. And we haven't made the bottom yet. I thought we had, but then looking closer, it looks like it's just a complex weak 5-wave move, wave E, type 1. And once it completes, that's it. We're going to go up. And then you should take profit at $3. If you don't take profit at $3, you might lose whatever gains you made during that time, which, if you think about it, took a while to happen, right? It took a while to happen. So unless you want to lose it all again and wait a long time for, you know, things to unfold the way they're going to, you, by all means, you do that. Hold for the long term. 100% hodl your way out of this. But for those who want to take profit and reinvest whenever we see a correction to the downside, because there are headwinds coming, then, use your imagination what you should do, right? Sell high, buy low. This is an opportunity for you to get into the swing of things, to make profits on the way up when the bull market actually starts. Now, I'm not going to talk about the bull market yet, because even though this correction might be significant, it doesn't mean it will be completely prolonged for a long time. Because I've seen expansions to the upside in corrections, and you know what? Wave threes are long for a reason. It's because a lot of the corrective patterns are expanded. So we can get that to in another video at another time. We'll talk about that. But for now, we should probably try and make some profits on the way up. Thanks for watching.